Hey, I'm filming my 10th short film. What's up? It's the Culture Detective here investigating your favorite animes, and today I'm finally going to be doing an anime review on the 2024 anime Yatagarasu, or in its full name, Karasu wa Aruji wo Erabanai, which means the crow does not choose its master. Yes. So, this is an anime based off of a novel written by Abe Chisato, which is a novel that is released monthly on Bunge Shunju, which at first glance, Bunge Shunju literally means art and culture spring and autumn, which is an extremely cool name for a monthly literature magazine, but also it basically translates to the annals of art and culture, and it is a literature magazine in Japan that has been publishing since the 1880s, which I believe was the Meiji period or something. Now, another interesting and slightly laughable thing about this magazine is that apparently their publishings and their essays are usually skewed towards right wing conservatism. Now, don't get your toes wiggling because Japanese right wing conservatism is largely different from American right wing conservatism, but it's still pretty interesting to see this happening. But that said, there were leftist writers appearing in this magazine from time to time, so it is not necessarily completely biased or anything. Anyways, I digress. Yatagarasu Karasu wa Aruji wo Erabanai is a novel series released monthly, and it is adapted into an anime by Studio Pierrot, who is responsible for some of the many amazing and popular animes like Naruto, Gintama, I believe, GTO, Great Teacher Onizuka. So, yeah, obviously this anime is made to succeed, except it did not, because no one last year talked about this anime aside from me for some reason. Like, there isn't any huge YouTubers who talked about it. There isn't a lot of discussion around this anime either on Reddit and my anime list. It's just generally a very unpopular anime that no one's talking about. So I decided to dig into this anime late last year, and I found out that this anime is actually pretty good. As expected, because this is adapted from a novel, its pacing is completely different from that of a manga adaptation, obviously, and it is much slower. And I think this is the first crutch that people would have when they view this anime. They would just go, why is this so slow? Why is nothing happening? Well, because animes in general are extremely fast paced. With Yatagarasu, we have something a little bit slower, and people are just not used to it. Anime fans are just not used to this slowness. Now, Yatagarasu is a story about a world, a fantastical kingdom called Yamauchi. Yamauchi, which is a pretty small kingdom with north, east, west, south, and a center. And the center is a tall mountain, and on the mountain is the palace where the government sits. And the government, the very head of the government, the head of the world, is the prince, or the Kin-U, or the golden crow, who rules over the land and protect every member of the land. And each member is called Yatagarasu. Essentially, Yatagarasu is a mythological creature in Japan. Basically, crows, giant crows with 3 legs. But at the same time, in the story, they also shapeshift into what seems to be human beings, and they can speak Japanese. Of course, they can. And so this is very much a Japanese period drama, palace drama, and right off the bat, I was impressed by its big, bold presentation, its plethora of characters. It reminds me of the beginnings of Game of Thrones, and given that this is 20 episodes long, I was real excited. Now, I didn't expect how slow this is going to be, but I still really like the exploration of the genre of the palace drama, especially in the first 13 episodes, which is just classic palace drama. It's about the prince and the prince's brother who secretly hates him and wants to overthrow him and take power. So we have a brotherly feud going on. At the same time, we have four concubine candidates, four women who are competing to be our prince's wife. Now, Prince, even though Prince is supposedly the son of the king, but in this anime, the Prince Wakamiya is the highest power of the entire world. So I'm not going to call him Prince anymore. I'm just going to call him by his real name, Nazukiko, or Wakamiya. So yeah, essentially four different women are competing for to be the wife of Wakamiya, and so we have these two storylines happening at the same time and tensions building between characters. And let me just say that the storyline of Nazukiko and his brother, as well as the main character of the show, Yukiya, this servant, is way more interesting than the four women. So whenever the story starts focusing on the four women, I get kind of bored. But nonetheless, we have this fish out of water situation with one of the women being Princess Asebi, who is this naive, innocent newbie girl with a very soft voice who is always very confused and dainty. And when I was watching this part, I was like, okay, this is kind of cliche. I get it. It's a palace drama, and there are always this specific type of character in a palace drama, but this is too cliche. The show has got to be more clever than that. And unexpectedly, the show is more clever than that, because on episode 13 we have a subversion of expectations that was pretty impressive. Now, that is the first arc. We have the second arc, which spans from episodes 14 to 20, and the entire story basically switches gear to supernatural fantasy, where Nazukiko and Yukiya and others in the government are trying to fight against this strange and mysterious incident where killer monkey humanoids attack and kill and eat Yatagarasu people, which is very brutal. Lots of violence randomly happening. And that isn't really the end of it, because especially our main character Yukiya, when he starts investigating these killer monkey humanoids, he starts to learn a lot more about the world building of the world, the underground community, and the world outside. And we have reached Attack on Titan levels of world building and foreshadowing that I was really impressed by. It's nowhere near as interesting as Attack on Titan, but it's getting there. And I think it has a lot of potential. Now, there are two gripes I have with this anime. One is that sometimes I just think the story is too convenient. It's not enough people die. I think there are so many moments where a character almost dies, but then they don't die, and I feel like I wish the show would just kill off more characters, present more plot twists, make more morally ambiguous characters. I just want the show to be even grittier and grimmer, like Game of Thrones. Also, clearly the animation is just okay. It's not bad, but it's just serviceable. I think given that there's a period drama that relies so much on production design and colors, I really want to see better animation. And I can see the animation quality sort of getting better near the end, but I really hope to see great animation from here on out. But yeah, aside from that, this is a fantastic period drama. In fact, out of the two period dramas released in 2024, The Apothecary Diaries and Yatagarasu, I prefer Yatagarasu over The Apothecary Diaries. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm giving Yatagarasu Karasu wa aruji wa erabanai. Karasu wa aruji wo erabanai. I'm giving it a decent 8 out of 10. So have you watched Yatagarasu? Comments below, let me know, subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching.